4, 3, 2, 1.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point you realize you married into crazy. And that's what our show is all about. If your marriage or relationship is compassionate, real, accountable, zealous and yielding, or just plain crazy, Snooks and Lovey offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as they unpack this thing called marriage. Sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
Welcome back to another episode of the Married Into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
Sure, I'm Lovey.
I was making sure you clicked it.
You looked confused. Hey, thank you for coming back to another episode. For those of you that are new to the podcast, this is the podcast for married couples and for those that are in long-term committed relationships, or for those individuals that want to be married.
Or just for anybody. It doesn't just have to be married into crazy. Yeah, but there are plenty of unmarried folk that listen to our podcast.
No, that's true. That's very true. So look, we've been through some things and we like to share not just our experiences, but we bring you subject matter experts as well as other couples to kind of share their experiences. So we have some more interviews that are coming up for you, both subject matter experts as well as other couples in the lineup. But, you know, this is going to be a short podcast today. This month, the month of June, is Men's Health, also Men's Mental Awareness Month. What?
I just was thinking about something, not to get off subject, but just thinking, you know, when you talk about weddings and stuff, most weddings happen in June. Is that coincidence that it's also Men's Mental Health Month?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Drives us nuts. Yeah.
That thought just came to us like, oh, a lot of couples look to get married in June, you know. June's a big marriage month, and it just, well, I don't know. The mental health of the man.
What they used to say? Things that make you go, It's so true. Hey, do us a quick favor before we get started. Go over to marriedintocrazy.com. Check out all the different ways that we love to pour into marriages. It's all over the page. Look, you have clothing. You've got the app, the Married Into Crazy app that's available both on the Apple App Store as well as Google Play. There's other things that we do as well, but it's all loaded right there on marriedintocrazy.com. And since you're listening or watching, be sure that however you're listening to us or experiencing this conversation, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and share it with another friend, somebody that might be able to benefit from the conversation.
Yeah.
But again, since this month is different. The month of June, every month seems to have all these different things. It's probably got 5 different month themes, right? So, the month of June is also Gun Violence Awareness Month, which we've actually participated in. My daughter and I were at a rally because, as many of you know, we lost our son to gun violence, our eldest child. I keep saying child. He was 28 and
He's
was
still our child.
Yeah, true. And he was gunned down 2 years ago. Yesterday. And so it is that month, but it's also
your birthday month,
my birthday month, as well as Father's Day, and Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
All this stuff happening in June.
A lot of stuff. And if you saw the last episode, and if you haven't, I highly recommend you go back and take a look. We had Kevin Tanner, who is a licensed clinical social worker. And for complete transparency, he's also my therapist. And he was kind enough to actually come on the show to talk about the importance of men's health, men's mental health, and how that relates to marriage. But I wanted to have a moment of transparency to really talk about just men's mental health. June is an extremely difficult month for me, for all of us.
No, for us, yeah.
For all of us. And I just want to really emphasize how important it is for us to put down the bravado, to get rid of the machismo, men specifically, and take a moment to just take a step back. There's such a thing as being strong. We're the providers. We are those guys that are supposed to, stand in the gap for our families, right? Be the one for everyone to lean on. But there comes a point where it becomes too much. And I feel like it's been like that for me personally over the course of the last several months leading up to this month. Now, I don't know if that's going to be like that every year or how long that's going to take, because I believe it is possibly part of the grieving process for me.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about the letting down their guards, or the bravado and the machismo or whatever, just letting their guards down, being able, for men, just being able to be vulnerable, because when you don't do that, I know that causes friction and rifts. That can cause friction and rifts in relationships, because if you acting like everything is okay when I know that there's something wrong, or and you're just acting like, oh, it's whatever, I got this, and those feelings that you have, they start to manifest in different ways in the relationship. For Levy, I know when there's something wrong, because that's my partner, that's my guy. I'm in tune with him, and believe he's in tune with me also. So if he's telling me that everything is cool, or it ain't no thing, or I'm like, don't lie. I mean, this is a moment. This is a moment for us to connect. When you're open, and the conversation, when something is bothering you, that's when we collaborate together on, okay, what's going on. Even if I can't fix it, the fact that I'm there, I can't fix it for you, but I'll listen. And sometimes just being able to get it out. I just need to talk about it. You being able to talk about it, that could help you too, because that will could relieve some stress that you have. And then also, when you feel like, I feel like for women, us making it a safe space for men to let down the bravado. A lot of times we talk about, we want a man that's in touch with his emotions, and someone that can open up and talk. And there have been women who have created barriers for their spouses or mates or whatever, because when they try to open up, or when they are being vulnerable, here you go again, you just soft, you just whatever it is, we create those type of we have in the past created those type of environments, to where the thing that we say that we want the most, we're causing them not to be that thing.
It's crazy. When all that happens, it's hard when you tear a guy down like that. If there's not that you've never done that, but I will say that I've been in relationships in the past, and we've been together 28 years. So over 30 years ago, there have been relationships where you try and open yourself up a little bit, and then you hear these things. And so what do? You immediately clam up. That's where that phrase "clam up" comes from. It's like that clam that's closed, and then you just, you open up a little bit, and as soon as something gets in there, a little bit of an irritant, you close right up again, nice and tight.
Yeah.
And this is a month as a reminder that we as men should find ways, should look for opportunities to open up. And even sitting here right now, I'm getting a little bit emotional, because still not there. There's a healing that takes place. And I am searching. And to be quite honest with you, it was just yesterday. It was
2 years.
2 years. I hate to call it an anniversary, because anniversary always denotes something positive. And it's not positive by any means. But it's not just that, but it's been distracting. It's been difficult to even focus at work. I had to take some time off from work just to kind of clear my space, clear my head space. And I'm being very, very, very transparent on this, because I think that men need to know that you're not alone, that the way you feel isn't weak. It's not feeling, there's nothing wrong with you. But just because there's nothing wrong with you doesn't mean that you're okay. That phrase that got coined and was running around for the last 2-3 years, it's okay to not be okay. It's a very real thing. It's not a niche saying. You know what I mean? It's not something that should be taken lightly. It is okay to not be okay, and to admit it, and to seek assistance
when you need it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you need to look for, a variety of individuals.
Yeah. Think about it though. When you have aches and pains in your body, do you self-diagnose yourself?
I do. I do.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
no, but I
you
go see a doctor.
you don't perform your own surgery.
No.
You don't perform your own dental hygiene or whatever.
Yeah, dental surgery and maintenance. And all that.
Any of that stuff, you know, you go to get your labs done. You don't guess and be like, I think my blood pressure is, or I think my whatever numbers, AC1 or something like that.
A1C.
A1C, AC1. I think that's, you know, you don't think about that stuff. You just go and you get it taken care of. Well, if you don't, you should, okay? Because not doing it, that causes different type of problems too, you know. But why do we think that we can do that in our minds and in our heads to just be, oh, I'll figure it out? Because, I mean, if something is wrong, it's wrong.
No,
So,
you bring up a valid point. Think about it. I mean, go even deeper. So, like you're talking about your A1C. So, like if your sugar's high, like, you know, let's speak in the vernacular. If the sugar's high, your blood sugar, meaning your A1C is high, you know, you go see your doctor. Your doctor will then send you to a specialist to see an endocrinologist. An endocrinologist specializes in diabetes. If you have a heart problem, you're going to go see a cardiologist.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to actually look into your heart and see what's going on. If
you have a skin problem, you go see the dermatologist.
Absolutely. You can see the dermatologist. If you have something wrong with your gut, right? With gastroenterologist. There's a specialist for every single thing. Mm-hmm. But the moment we have something wrong with our mindset, we think that we can handle it.
Right.
And we forget that it's our mind that controls and regulates all the other organs that we're willingly running towards a physician for. So it's like if the master computer is having some challenges, why are we so hesitant to actually go see someone that can assist with making sure that the computer is running right? Mm-hmm. If the real computer, if your Mac or your PC or whatever was having troubles, you would run it over to the Geek Squad or whomever, take it into Apple, and you wouldn't hesitate to take it in to get, you know, more memory added or to get it cleaned up or to clear your hard drive. We're so keen to do that. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the first computer, the real computer that matters, we hesitate.
Yeah.
We won't go see the LMFT, the licensed marriage family therapist. We won't go see the licensed clinical social worker like Kevin is, like soon to be Snooks will be. You know, she has her master's in social work.
We won't see the psychologist, the psychiatrist, whatever it is. The problem, I believe, is that the negative connotations behind those actual words, because those words have always meant you're crazy, not married into crazy, but crazy as in, you know, just crazy. Oh, he 50, yeah, he loony or whatever, one flew over the cuckoo's nest kind of crazy or what have you. But if your brain or your emotions or whatever it is, there's something wrong, we should go and seek help for that. The other part too is, think about it. When we talk about the brain short circuiting, right? What is it that dopamine, serotonin, whatever? Those are chemical imbalances, and sometimes those things are low. You don't even know it. Mm-hmm. So when you're feeling down and you're feeling like, you going to see someone can help you get answers to that, because you might be like, oh, dang, you might have very low numbers to where you're just, it doesn't matter what it is that you do, you ain't going to feel better.
And let's take it a step further. We are in a dopamine deprived, or I should say a dopamine saturated society these days. Every time you get on your phone and it dings, or you look down and you see a red mark, and you're like, oh, I got to check my this. I got to check my that. Whether it's social media, it's your texts, it's emails or whatever. Every single time you look down at your phone or your iPad or whatever it is you have, that's creating a dopamine hit. And there's tons of clinical data to actually back this up. That when you wake up first thing in the morning and you roll over and pick up your phone and you start looking at it, you start getting these dopamine hits. and then it depletes you. You use up all of your dopamine stores at a very early part of the day. So as the day progresses, as stress builds, going to work, as more things are being put on your plate throughout the day, the stores, like you're talking about, are reduced, so you can't really deal with it. So now all of a sudden, the stress level's high, the cortisol levels, another hormone is extremely high, starts doing all these negative things, and then so you're completely just wiped out. And now imagine doing that day in. You don't even have to imagine it because it's happening. I guarantee it's happening to each and every one of us on a daily basis. Day in, day out. It's just a matter of time. And everybody has a different level of resiliency. And so we need to make sure that we're taking the time. And I'm calling out men because it's our month for health. And I'm calling out men because I'm struggling and I'm going through this right now. And I'm looking for answers. And as I talk to my therapist, as I talk to my doctor, it's a medical team. It's not just one individual. Mm-hmm. There's several people. You have to develop your team. Mm-hmm. Get your village in order. Get people around you. It's your spouse. Your spouse is part of your team as well.
Should be. And you come together and you try and figure out, okay, what can I do so I can be right, so I can be present for my spouse, for my community, for my children, for my home, for my career, for my business, for whatever it is, whatever your why is, we need to be present. The only way that's going to happen is if we're also taking care of our mind. Yep. So I thought it was important to come on, be very transparent, and share that this month as we continue to talk. And we're going to have another doctor come on, and he's going to be talking about some more, on the MD side, some more of the physical attributes that we need to be taking care of, some things that men should take a look at, because it is a whole package. But let's not always forget, like the point that we made earlier, that though a doctor's going to come on, he's going to talk about, not today, but in the next episode, he's going to be talking about all these different physical things that we need to do. Never, ever forget that it's our mind, the supercomputer, that controls all these other things. So we need to make sure we're taking care of that, and need to check your ego at the door. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Not just check your ego at the door too. I want to say not just do that, but set the example for those that are coming behind you, because honestly, this time that we're living in right now, there's so many unknowns, and people are more stressed out than they have been. It seems like, since I've been alive, I feel like, but there are just so many things that are having people stress out, and you're freaking out, and you're watching TV or whatever it is that where you're getting all this, what is that called? When you're inundated with all the negativity. So you put that on top of the regular stress that you have with your job, that on top of the regular stress that you have with your children, relationship, stress, financial, whatever. That's overload, and before you know it, you're like, I'm about to just blow. So
yeah, you're up against the ropes.
Yeah,
you're just getting hit, boom, boom,
right.
boom, and you're in the ring with Mike Tyson.
Right, when he was one punch Mike Tyson.
Right, Iron Mike.
Iron Mike, yeah. But I mean, you got to set that tone and that example for those that are gonna come up after you, because people are looking. I saw everything that my mom did. I heard what she said, but I saw what she did. You know what I mean? And people are watching those that are coming up after you. Like I said, that's why in certain neighborhoods, when oh man, I ain't doing that. Oh, that's weak. That's blah, blah, blah. They take that attitude because the people who came before them said that. That's the example that they set. So let's set a new trend, and let's not make it be a thing to go see somebody. Let it start to be the norm. And, everyone's not going to be for you as far as like, you don't gel with everyone. Keep doing it until you find someone that you do gel with. That's like going to try on a pair of shoes. I see some shoes that I'm like, oh, those are cute. But when I put them on my feet, they're not comfortable. They don't look right on me. They feel funny. So I'm going to put them back, even though, now I'm going to go look for another pair. If I can be diligent in doing something like that, just for fashion or whatever, comfort, why would I not do the same thing for my well-being? You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And real talk, Kevin Tanner was not my first therapist. I had prior therapists, and I had to find the right fit.
Right.
I had to find somebody that got me, that understood me. And this brother just, in conversation, I interviewed him. And when I finally I felt the connection, I felt like this guy gets me. He understands where I'm coming from. Or at least I feel comfortable enough sharing to where I can make sure I open up enough to where he could totally get where I'm coming from and where I need to go. And so do the same thing.
And that's important to what you just said. You interviewed him. That's they would be lucky to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel like you got to go sit and if you're not comfortable with them and, I got to just stay here because no, I'm going to interview you because I need to make sure that you have my best interest and that we have some rapport. If you don't build that rapport, I'm not going to be comfortable talking to you. And if I'm not comfortable, I ain't saying nothing.
Amen. And to be honest with you, I mean, again, keeping it 1,000, he doesn't agree with me all the time. He challenges me.
Because I tell him to. No, I'm playing.
He gives me assignment. There's things he asks me to do to stretch, to grow, to be introspective, to make me really think about how I'm moving, to be more intentional about how I move throughout the day. It is so important. Look, we coach people. He said it in the interview last week, episode 310. Go back and take a look. He said he's a therapist and he has a therapist.
Yep, most do.
Most do. Coaches have coaches. And if your coach doesn't have a coach, then there's something, I don't know. You might want to question that. I'm honest. Like my mentor, E.T. E.T. has a coach, right? And so E.T.'s a coach to thousands, to high-level individuals, and yet he has a coach. So it's just know that if you want to break bondage, be the chain breaker, it starts with you.
Right.
And we got to break the chains that we have up here. We can't actually go out into the world and really have the impact and the influence that we truly want to have or think that we should have until we have the influence and the impact that we have inside. We have to work on our internal, and it's our internal that is then in turn going to be able to have the impact and the influence on the external.
Yep. Good one.
So with that said,
be blessed.
Be blessed. Get on. Hey, look, and I'm not going to be like, well, he didn't give any tips on what to do, what to look for. That's in episode 310. Kevin Tanner went in deep on what to look for, how signs.
Well, I mean, what to look for is when you wake up, how do you feel?
There's anxiety.
You can only you're going to be the key factor in how you feel. No one should tell you, oh, you feel this way. You know how you feel because you're you, So if you're feeling off, you feel some kind of way, off balance or whatever, you may ask your partner, babe, have you noticed me being blah, blah, whatever it is.
Even if you don't ask.
Right. Your partner may be like, what's going on? But you're your first clue. So
listen to that voice, but also listen to your spouse, because quite honestly, what
Say
served
that
you
again.
well
Say that
in certain
again.
situations may have gotten you success in a variety of areas, high stress areas, whether it be the military, whether it be sports, whether it be in corporate America. Those things that served you to actually get tasks done might be the very thing that is creating a blind spot for you when it comes to your mental health
That's true.
other areas that don't require such a high octane response.
That's true.
So anyway, we can go on and on. Look, I can go on. This feels good. This is cathartic for me to get out, but I hope that it's really touching somebody and opening your eyes, or at least opening your mind to at least considering reaching out and talking to somebody if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling as if perhaps you're just not okay.
And like he said, listen to your spouse.
She's not going to ever let me live that down. Listen, y'all, we appreciate the time. If you think that this conversation will benefit somebody that you care about, be sure to send this to them, share it with them, put it out on your social media. Go ahead and tag us at marriedintocrazy.com. But most importantly, make sure that you subscribe, you like, you share, and we expand the conversation. Let's really get out there and help not just the men, but relationships.
Yep.
So until the next time,
Be blessed.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Married Into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. Please like, subscribe to, and review the show wherever you access it, and tell a friend about us. Visit marriedintocrazy.com and see how Snooks and Lovey can bless your marriage directly.